welcome to H. And if the music is a bit loud, I apologize. I was notified last night that the music was barely audible, so we shall see how this goes. If someone would be so kind as to actually check out the live stream on the channel and report back to me and how loud or low the audio is, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, let's see here. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music done by Carrera, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and today I am joined by Will MC, Xanathos, and Lodikins in the live studio audience. Welcome, welcome. And as always, if anybody would like to participate, please speak up. Today is Moon's Day, also known as Monday, November 21st, 2022. Yeah, Thanksgiving here in a couple of days. So, yeah, I hope all y'all have a good one. Anyway, let's start off in 164 BC. During Maccabean revolt, Judas Maccabeus recaptured Jerusalem and rededicated the Second Temple, commemorated since as Jewish festival Hanukkah. Okay, well, I guess this is the start of Hanukkah. That makes sense. So, whenever Hanukkah actually starts, I don't know if it's today or within the next week, but yeah, happy Hanukkah. So, moving on up here, one heck of a time jump into 1787. We have Andrew Jackson was admitted to the bar. I believe that has to do with something involving law, like, you know, the bar test or whatever. So, yeah, he was, I think it was a lawyer. Maybe he was a president in general, at least. But then in 1806, Decree of Berlin, Emperor Napoleon I banned all trade with Britain. Yep. Britain and France didn't get along for quite some time. And Napoleon, yeah, he really, yeah. In 1901, Richard Strauss's opera Fliegersnot premiered in Dresden. Fliegersnot. Flower snot? Do flowers have noses to snot with? I don't know. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting that. 1917. Better than TV. Oh, nice. Thank you, Mr. Will. 1917, Maxim Gorky called Vladimir Lenin a blind fanatic and unthinking adventurer. Oosh. Yeah, Gorky, well, I don't even remember the name, so obviously Lenin did what he did. Yeah, so much for that insult, buddy. 1920, Mussolini's squad began terror. 11 die in Bologna, Italy. And that is not a sack of bologna. But yeah, so it looks like he was starting his little revolution or whatever, his coup d'etat, whatever he did to ascertain power in Italy. At that same time, in 1920, silent film The Last of the Mohicans was released, adapted from James Fenimore Cooper's novel starring Wallace Beery and Barbara Bedford. Alright. The Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, there's a movie that came out with that same title. I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but yeah, back in the early 2000s or something. It's a good movie. The ending is pretty cool. 1924, British Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin canceled labor contract with USSR. Good. Yeah, so that was in the interim period before the First and Second World Wars right there. More closely to the end of the First, but yeah, anyway, 1 year later, 1925, Red Grange played final University of Illinois game, signed with Chicago Bears. Alright, so that was his last college football game, and then he went into the big leagues. 1931, horror film Frankenstein was released, starring Boris Karloff as the monster, directed by James Whale, and based on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus. And Frankenstein, as many people, I don't know if they know or don't know, but it was the monster. No, it was the Frankenstein was the doctor. Frankenstein's monster was the monster. The monster wasn't called Frankenstein. Anyway, 1934 as well, Cole Porter's musical Anything Goes opened at the Alvin Theater in New York City, later transferred to the 46th Street Theater, running for 420 performances. Hey, 420, blaze it. 1934 as well, New York Yankees buy Joe DiMaggio from San Francisco Seals, Pacific Coast League. Alright, San Francisco Seals, right? Like, I don't really know much about sports. Or is it San Fernando? Like, what is SF Seals? I don't know. You know what? I can look this up real quick, very easily. So let's see. Copy. And then paste. Yep, San Francisco Seals. I was right. All right. Moving on up. Finally, into 1937, Dmitri Shostakovich's Fifth Symphony premiered in Leningrad to win the ovation lasting over an hour. Or it got an ovation lasting over an hour. Wow. Must have been really good. Now, it says ovation, which it's not a standing ovation, so it's not like people stood up and clapped for over an hour, but people clapped for over an hour at least, so that's pretty important, or pretty impressive. 1942, here we go. Adolf Hitler named Field Marshal Erich von Manstein commander of the newly created Army Group Dawn, or Here is a Group Dawn. Yep. We got some music history. 365 days later, in 1945, Benjamin Britten's Second String Quartet in C premiered. Alright. Got another film released here in 1946, The Best Years of Our Lives, film directed by William Wyler, based on McKinley Cantor's novel A Glory for Me, starring Myrna Loy and Frederick Mark, was released later to receive the Academy Award Best Picture in 1947. Cool. Speaking of 1947, in 1947, Bill Longstein defeated Lou Thesz in St. Louis to win National Wrestling Association World Heavyweight title. Alright. 1949, Bill Vick sold Cleveland Indians for $22 million to fund his divorce settlement. Wow. Bruh, the guy had to sell a sports team to appease the lady leaving him, or him leaving her. I don't know, whatever. That's an expensive divorce. So, ooh, what is this? Bare Bones of the Great Eight-Man Hoax. 1953, authorities at the British Natural History Museum announced the Pitdown Man skull, one of the most famous fossil skulls in the world, is a hoax. Ooh. Yep. In the world of is it paleontology? I'm not sure if that's the study of bones and whatnot, or whatever. There's a lot of hoaxes. Well, everywhere. But yeah. So gotta be really careful with this stuff. You know, it might add in an annal of history that's fictitious. Moving on up to 1955, Argentina asked Panama for a return of ex-president Juan Perón. Alright. So, I guess he was kidnapped or something? Like, what happened? I don't know. That's interesting. That's my question for the viewers, whoever's viewing this in the present or the future. If you can figure this one out, you know, say something in the comment section. Moving on up here to music history, 1959, entertainer Jack Benny on the violin and U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon on the piano played their famed duet. I did not know that happened, but that's pretty cool. I did not know Richard Nixon was a pianist. Or was he just like smashing the keys? I'm Richard Nixon. Bleh. Moving on up to 1960, Bob Scheffling signed to manage the Tigers after Casey Stengel turned it down. Okay. 1963, U.S. President John F. Kennedy flew to Texas, and he was assassinated the next day. So now we know what's happening tomorrow. Yeesh. We got another historic event here in 1964. Pope Paul VI signed the third sitting of Second Vatican Council. Okay. 1967, during the Vietnam War, U.S. General William Westmoreland told news reporters, quote, I am absolutely certain that whereas in 1965 the enemy was winning, today he is certainly losing, end quotes. How wrong you are, sir. 1968, the Supremes and the Temptations released I'm Going to Make You Love Me. Wow. That sounds like a felony. So, anyway, like, yeah, maybe I should put a restraining order on Miss Diana Ross here. Stay away from me. 1970, General Hafez al-Assad became a prime minister of Syria following a military coup. Huh. Alright. Maybe bloody, like a military coup. That sounds like it was people died, maybe. But anyway, 1973, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds won Major League Baseball's National League Most Valuable Player. Cool. Okay. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody screaming, and no, it was just a truck backing up. 1975, Linda McCartney, drug charges in U.S. were dropped. Ah. Was she part of the McCartneyism thing? Like, Paul McCartney. No, she was this other McCartney. Okay. Her drug charges were dropped. Well, doesn't surprise me that she had them, and maybe she had the pull to get them removed. I don't know. Anyway, 1976, Rocky, directed by John G. Avildsen and starring Sylvester Stallone, premiered in New York. That was a bad impression, but yeah. Later received the Best Picture of 1977. But yeah, like, I've been trying to refrain from, like, doing his voice on air because he actually had some condition, so I'm not trying to mock him. You know, he's a great guy, deserves the respect, and I didn't know it actually was called. I thought it was just, you know, his accent. Anyway, 1976 as well, 26 NASCAR Sprint Cup, Cale Yarborough won. Alright. More sports history. In 1977, the Orioles' first baseman Eddie Murray won American League Rookie of the Year. Alright. 1980, John Lennon and Yoko Ono posed nude for photographer Alan Tenenbaum. And that's a picture I never want to see in my life. And, yeah. Zanny, don't get any ideas. No, bad Zanny. Bad. Bad. You naughty boy. 1981, Olivia Newton-John's physical single went for number 1 and stayed there for 10 weeks. Dang. Isn't she... Why? She looks very familiar. An actress. Isn't she the one who played, in Parks and Rec? What's her face? No, she was
in Grease.
She was in Grease, okay. Who is the one who played, Leslie Knope in Parks and Rec? Leslie Knope. Yeah, there it is. Kind of looks like her, maybe. Somewhat. I mean, I'm not good at, like, you know...
Why don't you just look at the Parks and Rec?
I did.
Past...
I did. I have it on my stream here. So I'm, like, switching between that and this picture. And...
So what's her name?
Her name is, Oh, what is her name? Come on. Oh, come on, why can't you... She was a... Oh, she wasn't a president. Leslie Knope, actress. Why won't it just let me find... Amy Poehler. Okay.
Amy Poehler was Saturday Night Live, I think.
She probably was that too.
TV, one or the other.
Yeah, she's most known for, on this... Was she in Saturday Night Live? I don't know. Amy Poehler, SNL? Yeah, maybe? Amy Poehler, yeah, she was on SNL. Okay. Yeah, Parks and Rec, Sisters, Mean Girls, Inside Out. She has a few things in her repertoire. Anyway, let's get back on track here. 1982, 32nd NASCAR Sprint Cup, Darrell Waltrip wins. Alright then. 1989, a law banning smoking on most domestic flights signed by U.S. President George Herbert Walker Bush. Yeah, I can understand that with cabin pressure thing and all that whatnot, but if you've ever seen the movie The Goods, at the very beginning, when he's like doing his rant about like how our freedoms are being taken away while he's on an airplane stuff, it's a really good scene. You should check it out. Anyway, moving on up into 1990, French President Francois Mitterrand voiced support for a proposed UN resolution that would authorize the use of force in the Persian Gulf. Yeah, always a conflict over there. So, 1992, Oregon Senator Bob Packwood issued apology for unwelcome sexual advances. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing those to begin with, you creep. So, yeah. Anyway, 1993, German tennis star Michael Stich, or Michelle Stich, I don't know, scored a 7-6, 2-6, 7-6, 6-2 win over U.S. Pete Sampras to win his first and only ATP World Tour Championship title in Frankfurt, Germany. Alright. Also at that same time, in 1993, top-seeded German tennis player Steffi Graf won WTA Tour Championship, defeating Arantxa Sanchez Vicario of Spain 6-1, 6-4, 3-6, 6-1 at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Well, that's interesting. 2 tennis matches on different sides of the world. New York and Frankfurt. Huh, that's pretty cool. 1 year later, 1994, first-class cricket debut of Andrew Symonds, Queensland versus New South Wales, SCG. What is going on with his lips? Does anybody understand, like, what's going on with his lips? Why are they're so white? Like, what's... That is weird. I don't understand, but that's another question for the viewers. Do you see what
He
I'm
was
saying?
eating
Probably
chalk.
his sunscreen.
Yeah, he was eating chalk.
That's what it looks like.
Or he was eating chalk.
Yeah.
Or something else I won't say right now.
Well,
Yeah.
that'd be a little thick for that, bro. Like, you'd think he'd lick those lips clean if that was the case. But I don't know. Maybe he kissed a freshly painted wall. I don't know. But I've never seen that before. That's weird. Anyway, 1995, Apple Records released the Beatle Anthology 1 double CD triple LP. Included new song Free as a Bird by a John Lennon demo augmented by additional lyrics and performances by the surviving three. That's interesting. Something made in bits and pieces like that involving someone who's been dead. Huh. Also in 1995, Columbia Records released Bruce Springsteen's 11th studio album, The Ghost of Tom Joad, won Grammy Award for Best Contemporary Folk Album. Now some sports history. In 1999, repeat of previous year's final, but a different result. U.S. tennis star Lindsay Davenport defeated Martina Hingis 6-4, 6-2 for the WTA Tour Championship at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Moving on up into the next millennium, in 2004, Roger Federer of Switzerland won back-to-back season-ending Tennis Masters Cup titles with a 6-3, 6-2 victory over Australian Leoton Hewitt in the final in Houston, Texas. Album released in 2006, Kingdom Come, the 9th studio album by Jay-Z, was released. Some more music here. 2006, the 34th American Music Awards, Kelly Clarkson, Sean Paul, and Rascal Flatts won. Alright, I don't know why they only have her, but... And why does Lady Gaga not look like a human when she's not dressed in meat? 2018, 38th American Music Awards, Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber won. Seriously, like, I'm not trying to mock her or anything, but she has a long face or something. She looks like an alien. Like, is it just me, or she has, like, the gray head kind of shape going on? Like, or am I just being too, like, I don't know. I'm weird.
It's the shape of her face. She's got a pointed chin, and it elongates her face.
Yeah. Anyway, 2013, Happy, single released by Pharrell Williams, received the Billboard Song of the Year in 2014, as well as the Grammy Award for Best Pop Solo Performance in 2015. Wow. A 2-year award-winning thing. That's pretty cool. Ooh, Robert Mugabe ousted. 2017, Robert Mugabe's resignation after 37 years in power was read out in Zimbabwe's parliament during impeachment proceedings. Good. I've been talking about this off and on for the past week, so this has been a serious situation that happened in the past. Kind of recently, actually, 5 years ago. In 2019, Elon Musk launched Tesla's electric Cybertruck with shatterproof windows that, when demonstrated on stage, shatter. Yeah. The thing looked like something straight out of the first Halo game. So, I've never seen a truck with such angles. 2021, just last year, 49th American Music Awards, BTS, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, Drake, and Luke Bryan won. Alright. And before I move on into bursts and deaths, anybody in the audience, anyone watching, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything that you wished we had, elaborated more on? Anything that, you saw in the white areas between? There's a lot of history that happens on a daily basis. Anything that you wished that you would have been able to say more on? Anybody in the audience right now in the live, if you have anything to say, say it. Anybody otherwise, start a dialogue in the comments section. Alright. Then we will move on to bursts then. 1495, John Bale, English bishop and anti-Catholic playwright, Kinge Johann, born in Cove, Suffolk, England, dying in 1563. We have Voltaire, 1694, was a French writer, philosopher, and playwright. Candide, born in Paris, dying in 1778. Right. William Beaumont, 1785, an American surgeon and father of gastric physiology, born in Lebanon, Connecticut, dying in 1851. There's a Lebanon in Connecticut, apparently. All right. Father of gastric physiology. So,
there's a Lebanon in Indiana as well.
Okay, they're everywhere. We got Hetty Green here in 1834, an American businesswoman and financier whose wealth and miserliness saw her known as the Witch of Wall Street, born in New Bedford, Massachusetts, dying in 1916. Huh. So she was, I guess, the state's version of Ebenezer Scrooge. That's interesting. We got Benedict the 15th, 1854, was the Italian 258th Pope, serving from 1914 through 1922, born in Pengil, Genoa, Kingdom of Piedmont, Sardinia, dying in 1922. We got Tom Horn, 1860, an American gunfighter and outlaw, born in Scotland County, Missouri, died in 1903. Did he get killed in action? Yeah, execution by hanging, so there you go. Western Justice, or Frontier Justice. We got Stan Musial, 1920, a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder, 24-time MLB All-Star, World Series of 1942, 44, and 46, National League Most Valuable Player, 1943, 46, and 48, as well as a 7-time National League Batting Champion for the St. Louis Cardinals, born in Donora, Pennsylvania, dying in 2013. All right. Almost made it to 100, just 7 more years. 93. That's a good stint. And then we have Goldie Hawn, 1945, a U.S. actress, The First Wives Club, Private Benjamin, born in Washington, D.C. We also have Björk, 1965, an Icelandic singer, like Someone in Love, born in Reykjavik, Iceland. A happy birthday. Björk is, I've heard of her many times. We got Ken Griffey Jr., hey, 1969, a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder, 13-time MLB All-Star, American League Most Valuable Player in 1997, 10-time Gold Glove, Seattle Mariners, and Cincinnati Reds, born in Donora, Pennsylvania. Michael Strahan, 1971, a U.S. Pro Football Hall of Fame defensive end, 7-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl of 2007 for the New York Giants, as well as a broadcaster, Fox NFL Sunday, co-host on ABC's Good Morning America, born in Houston, Texas. And who else do we have? Carly Rae Jepsen, 1985, Canadian singer, Call Me Maybe. Oh, her, okay. Born in Mission, British Columbia. Then we have Davido, 1992, a Nigerian U.S. singer-songwriter, Fall, born in Atlanta, Georgia. Then we have, that's it. So moving on to the deaths, starting us off in 1361, we have Philip I, Duke of Burgundy, Plague, died in 1347, so I guess he died of the plague. That sounds about right. Bubonic. Moving on up, we have Franz Joseph I, 1916, was an emperor of Austria, king of Hungary, Croatia, and Bohemia from 1848 through 1916. Died of pneumonia at the age of 86 after catching a cold taking a walk. Yee. Be careful out there. Stay warm. J.B.M. Herzog, 1942, a South African general and Prime Minister of the Union of South Africa from 1924 through 39, died at the age of 76. Alexander Patch, a U.S. World War II general, Guadalcanal campaign, and Operation Dragoon, died of pneumonia at 55 in 1945. That sucks. I think I've heard about him. It says here 5-star, but there was only like a handful of 5s. This guy, he was a 3-star at least on his photo there. We have Mel Ott, 1958, a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame right fielder and manager, 12-time MLB All-Star, World Series of 1933, 6-time National League home run leader for the New York Giants, died of injuries sustained in an auto accident at the age of 49, and there is no actual photo of him, just this drawing. So that's very rare for something not in the Middle Ages. We got C.V. Raman, 1970, an Indian physicist, Nobel Prize 1930 for light scattering, died at the age of 82. Got Carl Hubble, not to be confused with Edwin Hubble or whatever his first name was. Carl Hubble, 1988, a U.S. Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, 9-time MLB All-Star, World Series 1933, National League MVP of 1933 and 36, New York Giants, died at the age of 85. We got Bill Drigsby, 1993, a U.S. actor, director, and producer, Incredible Hulk, The Courtship of Eddie's Father, My Favorite Martian, died from cancer at 59. That's pretty young. And we got Anne McCaffrey, a U.S. sci-fi author, died on this date in 2011. involved in Dragonflight and Dragon Drums, died at the age of 85. And 2021, just last year, we have Gordon Crosty, British contemporary classical composer, Grace of Todd, Purgatory and Changes, as well as an educator, died at the age of 84. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things OMNI Coalition. We got a strike yesterday on the OMNI Coalition's YouTube channel, so they're already making moves against us. Please, go check us out on BitChute. Go check us out on Rumble. You know, like, it's just a matter of time. Anyway, for your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and once again I was joined in the live studio audience by Lodikin, Xanathos, and Will MC. Thank you so much for joining, as well as anybody else who's live watching right now, or anyone who's watching later on in the future, as this is a recorded video as well. Anyway, until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in news, we have a news show coming up at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Whenever you catch us again, until then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until